Hey, what's up, everybody? Texas Nova here. YouTube, what is going on? Check this out. I have got another update for you guys on my 70 Nova. Been kind of slow, been working on it off and on. I really don't want to rush it, so I've just been taking my little time here. So I ordered some parts, got an LS coming in the mail right now. It is an LS3, 490 horse. Got all the stuff coming to it, coming with it. Going to be here maybe Monday, Tuesday. I will do a video for you guys, and you're gonna have to check that out maybe in the weeks to come. So, but anyway, as of right now, got my fuel pump, got a brand new tank, new sanding unit. Let me show you what I got. Okay, so what we got here is my OE sanding unit for 68 to 72 Nova. Check this out. So brand new. Yeah, the other one was kind of shot after 47 years. Gave up the ghost quite a long time ago. Now this big old fuel tube right here that runs along the outside of the tank, yeah, it's gonna get knocked off right there. So, okay, so here we go. This is the Aeromotive fuel injection fuel pump. Let me turn this around for you guys so you can see. So it's got 3 ports. You got a return, you got a vent, and you got an outlet there. Now the kid down there at the GM Performance told me that the Cray engines like a returnless style setup. So that's what this is going to be. So all I'm going to do is run an outlet. I haven't figured out how I'm going to wire the vent in, but that return right there, I'm just going to cap that off. So kind of turn it underneath, show you what I got. So this is it, man. I mean, there's not much to it. I have all the hardware. I'm not going to dig into the hardware much, but setting this thing up. One thing in the videos that they say you do gotta watch out for is the direction of your float bowls. Now in the 70 Nova, facing, and this is the back of the tank, the sanding unit does go to the right, so which I did not want because the way it sits in the car, this being the driver's side, the fuel rails, it's going to be, I'm going to run the fuel lines up the driver's side. So I'm going to have to put it here on the passenger side and kind of route it through the back side. So no big deal, but it is what it is. So there you go. So one thing that they did tell you during the installation, you know, you got this gasket here. I've got this set right where I want it at. Now, being a ribbed setup, you don't want these ribs right here no more than 1/4 inch deep, because that gasket's going to crush that. Being in the 70 Nova, there's really not any areas that is flat other than sitting right up here in the front. Now that is not in the deepest part of the tank. The deepest part of the tank is that right there, and that's really only, I want to say about about 5 inches wide right there, the deepest tank. So, but all I'm going to do is just drill a 3 3¼ inch hole. And a good thing that I set this down to really clock it and look at it, but they did say that the holes you do not want in the ribs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get that nice and even, and then I'm just going to drill it that way. These 2 holes here are not in the valley of the rib, if you will, or the angle of the rib. And this one here is going to run right smack, maybe about 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch out from that, because these here are gonna go up underneath it, and then it'll be secured, and then the gasket's gonna sit right on top of that. So let me get the drilling, and I'll tune you guys in here in just a second. Okay, now that I have my hole drilled, one thing that you do got to worry about, of course, is shavings. I got this nice and taped off here, and as you can see, I got some shavings around here. Now, one thing that you might want to invest in if you do this, just get you a reamer. This one here's a little pipe wringer you can pick up at an AC store, air conditioning store, excuse me, or maybe Lowe's or Home Depot will have them. Real good tool, and all you're going to do is just come around here and just sort of ream it out. This is kind of difficult to do with this one hand because the metal is so thick and it will snag. So, you know, I'll have to sit the phone down to do it, but I've already done it. But one thing I wanted to show you is that underneath here, you want to check for burrs or anything. And if you see if I can't pull any out. Well, I don't have any, but underneath, like that, I know you can't see it, but I do see that little bit right there. That's underneath. So you want to make sure that you get that off and run your deburr underneath. see if I can't find, I feel one right here, but I can't pull it out. So you want to make sure that all those are nice and out. And as you can see, look at that right there. I didn't see that right there. Look at that. Perfect example. You do not want that bad boy to fall down in your tank. And I didn't know that was even there. But that sure left play havoc if that slid in there and went down the carburetor and down in your cylinder wall. So there you go. Make sure, take your time on this part right here. Make sure everything is cleaned out. I haven't got a shop vac to it, so make sure you get a shop vac in there and really dig it out. Run a magnet down in there, down in your seams, get that out. So what else I'm gonna do, this here is just a regular old paper towel. I did wet it down, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in the tank and run it around, and hopefully anything that I did not miss, anything I did miss, excuse me, is gonna get it with this wet paper towel. So, okay, so what I got here, this is a wet paper towel. I did wring it out really good, so it's just damp. So what I'm gonna do is just run this down in the tank a little bit and pick up anything that I did miss. I did thought I was going to use a magnet, but magnet was kind of hard to get around in the tank. That's just those scratch marks right there. So what I'm going to do is just kind of get my hand down. You will be able to get your hand down in there. And just run it real good. I spent a real good couple minutes getting in here and with the shop vac and making sure I'm not missing anything, because I think this wet rag is going to catch anything that I miss. So there we go. See if I missed any. Nope, everything looks good. Little specks right there. So that's about it, guys. There you go. So next, this piece here is going to go under like so. So now I'm going to lay the template down in the box, and that's just going to seat right down in here, and then I'll drill my holes. Okay, what I failed to mention was when you guys are finishing sucking out the shavings out of the tank, make sure that you go by and you go ahead and get everything that is off of the tank. So I got shavings down here. Shavings are all over, so make sure you wipe those off. Again, please take your time, and you can see all those shavings, and they get all over the place. So make sure that you get them off. Now, when you're doing the tank, when you're drilling the hole, make sure you don't move the tank around. Let those shavings fall. They will fall in there. It's just going to happen. So what you don't want to do is once you get it drilled, start getting the tank and turning it up on its side, because you're going to get the shavings in little crevices that you don't need. Just let them fall. And then you can get your shop vac in there. And then that way, your shop vac do all the work for you, and your shavings all over your tank. Okay, now that the hole is drilled, this is the template that they use so you can drill your holes, so that this bad boy is going to come sit up through the tank. So a minute ago I was telling you guys, when you first did this here, when you set this down, you want to make sure that your screw holes, these screws, are not sitting in the valleys of right here. So that's what this is for. Okay, I just did this here so I can pretty mobile. It's kind of hard doing this with one hand. So I wanted to center this here so I can pretty much get these screw holes, make sure that all screw holes are not sitting in the valleys, the edges of here. So when that's going to sit, it's going to sit just right there. So that's going to give me plenty of room, and I'm not kind of kicked over, because as you can see, if I was just over just a little bit, man, there's not a way around that. I just ate a $150 tank. So when you do that, make sure you use this piece here, set it down in your tank, set it on top of it, move it around, clock it around, make sure you look at it, because these tanks aren't cheap. If you got an old one, well, good news is you just bought you a new one. You bought you a new one, you're over just a little bit, You just bought you a new one. So make sure this is real important that you do this. So this is the template. The template in the older videos that I've seen, they did send out a aluminum chunk, a piece of billet aluminum, which I was like, wow, hey, that's pretty cool, man. But it's kind of a bummer deal because you use this one time, guess what? Boop, you throw it away, it's gone. So what this does is this has got a little lip on it right here. So all this is going to do, this is going to sit right down in the middle because that hole right there is 3 1/4 inches, okay? Just like your hole saw. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit that down there. Let me get up here. And just like when I did my gasket here, I'm going to clock it so these two are straight up and down parallel to the valley here. I have one here, one up top. So I want to make sure that's nice and straight, kind of use it as a guide. Make sure these two here aren't in a valley. So as you can see, I got a good comfortable finger width. So that's about an inch, about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch away from that valley right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 2 holes here and here, secure it, and then I'm going to get my drill, punch them all out. That way I'm going to secure these 2 down. That way I've seen some videos where guys will literally hold this down and drill. But what happens when you just kick it out to the side a little bit, man, you're done. So make sure I'm going to do these 2, screw them down. That way it's not going to move around. Boom, 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 boom. Drill 8 more holes, I'm done. Okay, one thing I did, I didn't want this template to move around, so I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and just get some duct tape, some heavy duty duct tape. And look at here, I got FedEx coming. Look at there, I wonder what he's bringing me today. Get some more Go Fast parts. Be back. I got some more parts coming. All right, now that I got these 2 drilled in here, I got some nuts put on the back side of that. They do send nylon washers that go on these. You know what, man? Luckily, I found some without it. It's going to give you a workout. These things are very tight, and as you can see, that nut right, that bolt is about that long. So I want to say it's about 2 1/2 inches. So I found some. Got it sucked down in there. As you see, it's not going anywhere. So now, the proper drill bit they do give you. So this is the one that they do give you in the kit. So all I'm gonna do is just drill 8 holes. Take this back off. Set this with that cutout. Set it in there. Raise it up. Center down. Take that on to the next step. All right, well, now that I got my holes drilled, you can't see all the garbage here. This is just being kicked out just by drilling the holes. And if you can see, look down in there and you can see all those speckles. I really don't want to get my light down there because, man, it was just heartening seeing all that stuff fall down in there. But luckily, I got a good shop vac. I'm gonna suck that all out, get a wet towel, run down there and catch anything that I did miss. So again, I'm leaving this on here. I'm gonna wipe all this off. I'm gonna wipe it away from my hole, of course. Wipe it all down, then I'm gonna get my shop vac, come down in there, get my towel, run my towel down in there, get that all nice and clean one last time. Okay, now that I got this all drilled out where I wanted it, and I'm happy with it, I did go in, I guess to start off, once again, when you're drilling on the tank, don't move the tank. Don't turn it on its side. Don't move it around. Leave it flat. Try not to disturb it as much as you can. That way you're not getting the shavings to get all over your tank. So everything is going to be concentrated in one spot. Once this is down, you get done drilling it, vacuum what you got, okay? Wipe it down. Take it off. You will have shavings underneath it, just like that. No, that's just paint. Anyway. So underneath here, you will have frayed shavings as well. So I'm gonna have to get those out that is underneath that. So once I do that, once I did that, vacuumed underneath this, vacuumed inside of here, got it pretty good. So I went back inside the house, got a wet towel again, just straight up paper towel, trying to see if anything that I did miss. After vacuuming a good minute, solid minute, that's what I missed right there with the shop vac. Okay, so that's all that I see that is on this rag is just those little pieces right there. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. But as you can see, that's a nice size. Now, yeah, the filter will catch that, but still, nonetheless, you don't want that in your tank. Okay, so what I'm using is my reamer, my little pipe reamer. This does sit down in here, and what I'm doing is I'm just going around here and making sure that I get all the. Let me see if I can't pull one out for you, like that right there. See that? That's a nice chunk right there. I'm gonna let that fall on in there. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Right there. You don't want that bad boy falling in there, floating around. So I'm gonna get the reaming out all these 10 holes. All right, now that I've got the bottom retaining piece set securely in there, I'm gonna measure my tank, measure the depth at the lowest point, and as I'm looking, that's about 8 inches, so I'm right at 7 inches. All right, well, after fighting it and finally cutting it and getting everything together, here it is right here. Got everything cinched down, looking good, looking good. Guys, I want to give you one piece of solid advice. When you're putting this together, this little sock right here, put this on last. I made the mistake of putting it on first, then putting the pump on there and cinching everything down. I had to take it off a couple times to get everything just right. You got a hose clamp right there holding on to the fuel hose, whatever you want to call it. These 2 clamps here, and it's just plastic. And if you look, that little brass piece right there, I'm assuming that's a little pressure clamp. I couldn't get that off. I really didn't want to go prying on it because I didn't want to break it because I'm all excited to get this thing in there and get it going. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be extra careful, try not to break it. So my piece of advice, guys, make sure this is the last thing that you put on. I know that this is part of the height. It adds maybe about a finger width height to the bottom piece right here. But once you get close, go ahead and put it on, but don't put it on first right away, just like I did. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these screws out right here, put the foam gasket, lay this down, and I'm going to start cinching this bad boy down. All right. Well, finally got my reservoir, my baffle, whatever you want to call it, got it finally cut off. I am fixing to give you guys a helpful tip on cutting this. And just kind of explain this. This is just the plastic rubber, excuse me. This is just a rubber cap. It's got holes in it. And what those holes are for, so when we set this down in the tank, whatever the tank gas rises up, if it goes above, of course, it'll spill over. If you got it halfway, gas will go in these holes on all sides and fill up to however high it is. The reason these little siphon holes are here is if you're doing high quartering, and doing a lot of cornering, gas won't just slosh out and you won't starve your fuel pump and your car will die. So, helpful tip. I've seen a lot of videos, guys. Well, actually, in the instructions, it tells you to get a butter knife or a hacksaw or whatever. I've seen some videos where people use hacksaw, and oh my God, it just looked like they just bit it off. Guys, use one of these here. These are little box knives, whatever you call them. They're $2, $3, $4 at Walmart, Harbor Freight, Lowe's, or Home Depot. Use this, please. Don't use a hacksaw. Man, I don't know about a butter knife, a bread knife. But when you do it, when you measure this, since my tank was 7 inches, you want to cut this to 8 inches. You want to cut this an inch over to the height. That way, what happens is that it compresses and it gives it a good seal. That way, it's not dancing around in your tank, okay? So, but when you measure it, draw you some lines all the way around, okay? Measure it 7 inches and then just do a continuous line all the way around like I did. That way when I'll tell you what, this is kind of hard to do, but draw a line all the way around, poke your knife in here, and just kind of saw at it. And there you go. Nice and straight. Okay, now I'm going to set this in here. So what we're gonna do is get the, take this off. I don't want to take these off too many times because I'll start wearing it out. So we're going to set that back in on there. Okay. And what this is going to help. This is designed to push that in there. So all we're going to do is just fold it up like a taco and wedge it in there. All right, there you go. So after some fighting it with this here, this does work. Please use that. That'll save you some time. So what you want to do is make sure that that is tucked up underneath inside of that right there, okay? And then you can just reach your hand down in there and just kind of spread it out. And all I'm doing is I'm just doing this here, you know, all the way around. And that way, when I get my fuel pump, it's going to sit right in there. All right, well, this is the last one right here, guys. So here it is. Aeromotive Phantom in-tank fuel injection fuel pump adapted to my 1970 Chevy Nova gas tank. This is brand new. That's the ground, of course, but this right here is the line feed to the carburetor. That's gonna get nicked off right here, and I'm just gonna cap that off. So, guys, that's it, man. Everything's in there, nice and snug. Off I go. Hey, thanks for watching. Click and subscribe. If you enjoy the video, I'll do more. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care.